Hey everyone, and welcome to WordWave. I'm Daniel, and I'm really happy you're here today. In this episode, I have something special prepared for you. We're going to learn and practice English together through a story. But don't worry, this is not a long or difficult book. What you're about to hear is a short and simple version of a classic adventure. It has been carefully written so that learners like you can follow along easily, enjoy every moment, and pick up new words at the same time. The story I've chosen for today is called The Lost City of Gold. I will read it to you slowly and clearly, so every word is easy to understand. Here is what we will do today. First, you will hear the full story, told slowly and with simple words. Then, I will teach you the most important vocabulary from the story. I will explain each word in a clear and easy way. And finally, you will practice shadowing. You can pause, repeat, or even write down what you hear. So get ready. This is the Lost City of Gold, told just for English learners. A long time ago, deep in the green jungles of South America, there was a young man named Daniel. He lived in a small wooden house at the edge of a quiet town. His parents were farmers, and life was simple and peaceful. Daniel worked in the fields every morning, helped his mother in the kitchen, and read old books late into the night. Daniel loved stories about explorers and faraway places. He often dreamed of leaving the town and discovering something amazing, but he never thought it would really happen. Until one rainy afternoon, everything changed. A traveler arrived in the town. He was old and thin and wore a long brown coat. His boots were covered in mud, and his eyes looked tired. He carried a heavy leather bag on his back. He didn't speak to anyone, except to ask for a place to rest. Daniel's mother offered him a warm meal and a bed for the night. That evening, the old man sat by the fire. He looked at Daniel for a long time and finally spoke. He said his name was Mr. Carter. He had spent his whole life searching for a hidden city deep in the jungle, a city made of gold. He said the city was real, and he had found a map that showed the way. But he was too old now and too weak to make the journey himself. Mr. Carter gave Daniel the map. He told him to be careful, because many people had searched for the city before, and most of them had never returned. He also warned Daniel that not everyone he met would be honest. Some would smile and pretend to be friends, only to steal the map later. The next morning, Mr. Carter was gone. He had left quietly before sunrise. He had only left behind a map and a short note. The note said, "Trust your heart, but watch your back." Daniel showed the map to his best friend, a clever young woman named Lucia. She was strong, brave, and very smart. She had also dreamed of adventure her whole life. Together, they decided to follow the map and find the lost city. They packed their bags with food, water, ropes, and a small knife. They said goodbye to Daniel's parents and started their long journey into the jungle. The first few days were calm. The jungle was beautiful and full of life. They saw colorful birds, tall trees, and strange flowers. But soon the path became harder. The trees were thicker, the air was hotter, and strange noises came from the bushes at night. On the fifth day, they met a man near a river. He said his name was Victor. He was friendly and full of jokes. He told them he was also an explorer, and he offered to help them. Lucia was not sure about him, But Daniel thought he seemed nice. They let him join their group. Victor was a great help at first. He knew the jungle well. He showed them which fruits were safe to eat and how to find clean water. But Daniel started to notice something strange. Sometimes, late at night, Victor would look at the map for a long time when he thought no one was watching. One evening, Daniel hid behind a tree and listened. He heard Victor whispering to himself. Victor was planning to take the map and leave them in the jungle alone. Daniel felt cold inside. He quietly went back and told Lucia everything. The next morning, they pretended that nothing was wrong, but they made a secret plan. That night, while Victor was sleeping, they took the map, packed their things, and left without making a sound. They walked through the dark jungle for hours until the sun came up. After many more days of walking, they finally reached a tall stone wall covered in green plants. Behind the wall was a wide open valley, and in the middle of the valley stood the lost city. The buildings were old and broken, but the gold on the walls still shined in the sunlight. It was real. It was truly real. Daniel and Lucia walked slowly through the empty streets. They found gold cups, silver plates, and beautiful stones. But they also found something more important. They found a small library full of old books and writings. The books told the story of the people who had once lived there, their history, their songs, their dreams. Daniel understood something in that moment. The real treasure was not the gold. It was a story. It was a knowledge. It was the chance to share something special with the world. They took only a small bag of gold, enough to help their families. But they took many of the books and writings. They wanted to bring them home and share them with teachers, students, and historians. The journey back was long and hard, but they made it. When they finally arrived home, the town welcomed them like heroes. Daniel's parents cried with joy. Lucia smiled and hugged her family. And Daniel knew that his life would never be the same again. He had left as a quiet young man with a dream. He had returned as someone who understood the world a little better. He had learned about courage, about friendship, and about the difference between greed and purpose. And from that day on, Daniel never stopped exploring. Okay, it's Daniel here again from WordWave. Now let's go over some of the most useful vocabulary from today's adventure. These words will help you understand stories better and sound more natural when you speak English too. I will say the word, explain it simply, give you a real example, and then we will say it together. Shadowing time, right? Ready? Great. Let's go. The first word is edge. The edge of something means the outside part or the border of it. You could say, she sat on the edge of the bed. Now repeat after me. He lived at the edge of the town. Good job. Now the second word is peaceful. Peaceful means calm and quiet, with no problems or noise. For example, the garden is peaceful in the morning. Now repeat. Life was simple and peaceful. The next word is traveler. A traveler is a person who goes from place to place, often on long trips. For example, the traveler stopped at a small cafe. Now try this. A traveler arrived in town. The fourth word is muddy. Muddy means covered in mud or wet, dirty earth. For example, his shoes were muddy after the walk. Now repeat. His boots were muddy. Up next, we have the word journey. A journey is a long trip from one place to another. For example, the journey took 3 days. Now repeat. They started a long journey. The next word is honest. An honest person tells the truth and does not lie. For example, she is a kind and honest friend. Now try this. Not everyone was honest. Perfect. The next word is warn. To warn someone means to tell them about a danger before it happens. For example, the teacher warned us about the storm. Now repeat. He warned Daniel to be careful. Good job. Our next word is brave. Brave means not afraid or ready to face danger. For example, the brave firefighters saved the cat. Now repeat. Lucille was strong and brave. Great job. Now comes the word path. A path is a small road or way to walk through a place. For example, we followed the path through the forest. Now repeat. The path became harder. Very good. The next word is whisper. To whisper is to speak very quietly, almost like a secret. For example, she whispered the answer in his ear. Now repeat. Victor whispered to himself. Good job. And next we have plan. A plan is an idea about what to do in the future. For example, we made a plan for the weekend. Now repeat. They made a secret plan. Very good. The next phrase is without making a sound. This means very quietly, with no noise at all. For example, he left the room without making a sound. Now repeat. They left without making a sound. Perfect. The next word is valley. A valley is a lowland between two hills or mountains. For example, there is a small river in the valley. Now repeat. The city was in a valley. The next word is shine. To shine means to give off bright light. For example, the stars shine at night. Now try this. The gold shined in the sun. And here's another one. Knowledge. Knowledge means the information and understanding that you have. For example, books give us a lot of knowledge. Now repeat. Knowledge is a real treasure. And here's the next one. Welcome someone like a hero. This means to greet someone with great joy and respect. For example, the team was welcomed like heroes after the win. Now repeat. The town welcomed them like heroes. The next word is purpose. Purpose is the reason why you do something. For example, she works hard with a clear purpose. Now repeat. He found his purpose. And the final word is explore. To explore means to travel to new places and learn about them. For example, I love to explore new cities. Now repeat. Daniel never stopped exploring. Good job. And there you have it. Your vocabulary adventure is complete. This is how your English becomes stronger, step by step. And hey, you don't have to do it on your own. I'm here to help you in every episode. I'm Daniel, and this is WordWave. Bye for now. WordWave,